Hey. Yeah, buddy, you know what time it is. It's time for that Smackdown rundown for this beautiful, happy blue year. Yeah, buddy, because I'm Ray Williams. You're you, and we're roped in. Please, before we continue, if you don't already, go ahead, follow your friend, your boy, your man's Ray Williams right here on Sportscaster, and I'll be also posting this on YouTube as well. Go ahead, click that subscribe button. You get notifications on Sportscaster whenever I go live. And for YouTube, you get notifications once you hit that bell for every time that I have a video posted. Also, please go ahead. If you like this video, if you enjoy this video, hit that heart button, hit that like button on whatever platform you're viewing this on, and share it with a friend. Favorite it, share it with a friend. And one last thing, please remember, you can always, if you're on Sportscaster with me live, wrong hand, you can join me in the conversation by just putting down whatever you thought of SmackDown tonight. Go ahead, put your comments in the chat box below. I always make sure to double back and check the comments once I'm finished with the rundown. All right. So, also, Happy New Year, guys. This is the first roped in of 2021. I'm trying to be more consistent and have a better schedule. And please excuse my voice if I come off all raspy. For a couple days, it's just been not sore, but impeded, let's say. So, but I'm going to continue marching on. Wednesday night didn't help things. We're watching that tribute to Brody Lee, which had me. I held it together. I held it together. And if you're familiar with me on here on Sportscaster, I mainly do the main shows on WWE, so that'll be Raw and SmackDown. I don't usually do AEW reviews, hence I backed away on Wednesday. I thought about it, but I backed away. Um, just a very, very emotional show. Um, I know every segment pretty much got somebody, but especially for me, I don't know why it was this particular segment, but when the Super Smash Brothers Evil Uno, and Stu got the victory with the fatality, and Stu was just he put up the signal, and he was just so emotional and so expressive too. It's just like whew. And I did it at home. I stood up. Man, but very emotional for everybody involved. And I think it's been said by everybody. No one had a bad word to say about the man, John Huber. So rest in peace, rest in power. Continue to hope God continues to shine down upon his family and look after his family as well during all this as well. Also, if you want to go ahead and support, go ahead over to AEW Shop. There, I know the site crashed. I believe Scrump from Pro Wrestling Tees said that this sale of the tribute T-shirt actually beat out the Sting shirt as far as selling out within the fastest time. They said the Brody Lee t-shirts actually sold out within 2 hours, which is amazing. And all the proceeds, again, go to the Huber family, not only from that tribute t-shirt, but also Mick Foley and CM Punk are donating the proceeds during January of their t-shirt sales to the Huber family as well. So it just lets you know the overarching reach that this man had, and No matter what people want to tell you, if you do the right thing and you continue to be good to people, your legacy spreads tremendously. And you don't have to be the big time guy. You don't have to be the top guy all the time. But people recognize real, genuine, good people. So please, if you want to go ahead and support, go on over to Pro Wrestling Tees. Get that Brody Lee tee. Get anything from the Mick Foley store and the CM Punk store as well. Again, you'll be helping out with a good cause. So, also, speaking of Mick Foley, it was just announced by him on Twitter that he got that stuff, y'all. He got that stuff. He said he found out shortly after a signing that he had, and he quarantined for about 18 days. So prayers go out to Mick Foley. Hope everything turns out fine. He, during the video at least, he looked okay. I don't know what kind of symptoms he's been going through, but continue to support him and send your support to him through Twitter. Continue to be with that man. He needs some encouragement right now, just as everybody who's been dealing with this in one way or another. They may not have contracted the virus, but they may have been affected by it in other ways. It may have been the shutdowns of businesses and making people unemployed. You know, it could have been the whole rent situation, things like that. So continue to support those around you who have been affected. If you can do anything monetarily or anything else to provide any assistance to those people, help out those people. That'll go a long way towards making you a decent human being, just like John Huber was. So, anything else? Anything else news-wise? I know there was something. It might come back to me. Let's not dwell on on things that I can't remember. Let's go ahead right into the Smackdown rundown. Oh, D-Lo. You don't got the real deal now. Anyways, so we started off the show. The head of the table, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, came out flanked by his supporting cast of his Cuzzo and his special advisor. Came on down. Of course, they were running down Kevin Owens, talking trash about Kevin Owens. And who shall appear but Kevin Owens? And it was just, man, Roman is getting better and better on the mic. And I know, I think I was listening, of course, me being a fan of post-wrestling, the number one source for news and information on pro wrestling and MMA. I was listening to one of their podcasts. They did the best of 2020 podcast. Yeah, there was some good stuff that happened in 2020, y'all. And I believe Davey Portman, who does the Up Next podcast, I believe it was either Davey Portman or Wade Ting, but one of them mentioned that it's amazing how even though Roman Reigns has been pretty much pushed to the top as soon as the Shield broke up, like he's had the rocket strapped to him. But it's amazing to still see now his final character, or him imparting stuff within his actual character, and just to say that he's been one of the most improved That's a very big statement, but it's true. It's true. Even though he's been pushed and he's been kind of guided along, up that golden, up that golden ramp, that golden road, the yellow brick road up to the top. We haven't had a chance to see him come out of his shell and be his own until now. And now that we see that, of course, we're going to say he's improved because anything's better than suffering succotash. You know what I'm saying? So I agree. I do think he was one of the most improved within this year. And that's odd enough again because considering he took time off, rightfully so. You know, he took time off between March and I want to say when was SummerSlam? Like August. So he was gone for about 5 6 months. Again, arguably so, dealing or not arguably, but rightfully so, considering the past health history that he's had. You know, trying to make sure that he's safe. So just for him to come back and then to just pretty much make over his character completely, and not only make over his character completely, but being awesome at making over his character and providing so many different layers and dimensions to the character. It's just been amazing to watch. So yeah, he's running down. Yeah, he should be one of the most, or considered one of the most improved within 2020. But back to the show, he's running down Kevin Owens, and he's just like, you know what? I'm embarrassed for you, and he was just going after him. I gave you an opportunity to get your payday, and now I'm done with you. I'm pretty much you shouldn't be coming back out here. I'm done with you. I'm finished with you. We had our rivalry. You're done. But Kevin Owens was like, all right, well, that's fine by me. But I want Juicy J, Joshua J. I don't care about you. I'm going to beat the snot out of him and make him pay for costing me the championship twice. Not once, but twice in a week. So we get that, and then a little later on, as that segment ends, a little later on, we fast forward. Kevin Owens is backstage, and he's talking to Adam Pearce, and I love this interaction because it brings up the history between the two. If you guys aren't familiar, Adam Pearce, not only was he a former professional wrestler on the independent scene before he became a producer with WWE, he was also the showrunner and the head producer, the head agent rather, for Ring of Honor Wrestling during the time that Kevin Owens was a part of Ring of Honor Wrestling. And so I love, without without bringing up the actual name of the promotion, even though they've mentioned Ring of Honor before, without bringing up the name of the promotion, they still tie together the history that they've had with Kevin Owens, just mentioning that they've been together for 15, or they've known each other for 15 years, and how they've wrestled in this bingo hall, and how they've been together at Manhattan Center, and just kind of revealing the bond that they've had, and that all he wants is for Adam Pearce to grant him the match against Jey Uso. So he was very convincing, because Adam Pearce, despite being reluctant at first, he went ahead and granted the match. And later on, we see some very distraught head of the table overhearing the news after he sent Paul Heyman snooping to find out who made the match, even though that just reveals that Roman Reigns doesn't watch Smackdown as it goes on. Because had you been watching Roman, you would know it was right there on TV. So I'll get to the main event, which features main event Jey Uso taking on Kevin Owens. I'll get to that a little bit later. But let's get through some more news and notes on the show. First off, let me see if that SmackDown report from our good friends at Post Wrestling is up. Come on now. And as I'm going through this, I mentioned during the rundown last week that what did I mention during the rundown last week? It'll come back to me. Just that fast. I don't understand. Okay. Oh, I mentioned on the rundown last week that SmackDown was a little bit more bare bones. It was pretty much straightforward. We got 4 matches. We didn't get, if any, I think we only got one backstage promo or 1 or 2 backstage promos, and they weren't taking much time. I think the only thing was the Street Profits doing the thing with Sami Zayn with the "I was Intercontinental Champion" t-shirt. Excuse me. But other than that, everything else was pretty straightforward. We had 4 matches, and they took up the bulk of the show. I think that cage match was itself 25-30 minutes. So it was pretty straightforward. I think they did that for a reason. They knew if you guys are into all the numbers for the ratings and everything, they knew that they were coming off the lead-in from the NFL game. And I mentioned as well that the runoff from the NFL game actually took up maybe the first 5-10 minutes of SmackDown, pretty much, or the time slot that SmackDown was supposed to be. So it overran for about 10 minutes or so before SmackDown began. So that lead-in kind of pushed up the number, and I believe they said it was the second highest SmackDown rating, only to the debut on Fox, which featured The Rock. So, man, I just think they knew what they were doing. They wanted to get right into a hard-hitting match, introduce their champion right off the bat, and then they wanted to keep whoever was tuned in, any of those casual fans who may have lapsed in the past or are like, oh, wrestling's back on, oh, WWE, let's get this back. So they tried to carry them over without having a bunch of stuff in between to have others flipping the channels like, oh, this is nonsense. Let me just change the channel. So I think with just having a very succinct show that flowed through from match to match to match, it helped keep that rating throughout the evening for that particular episode of SmackDown. This episode, however, we were back to normal with having our segments. A few of them, I got a few of the chuckles, okay? I ain't gonna lie. All right, so let's go ahead. Our notes are up from our good folks at Post Wrestling. So let's go ahead and go to that. As I go to that, it's also going to mention Sonya Deville coming back. Yes, Sonya Deville, the woman who wrestled in a career on the line match and lost. Now she's back. If you're familiar with the backstory and what's been going on behind the scenes with Sonya Deville, you could pretty much agree that it's a well-deserved. She needed that well-deserved break. It's just, man, people are crazy out here, man. Why can't we as wrestling fans, and John Moxley mentioned this during the tribute to Brody Lee. Like, we're supposed to be a family. We're supposed to be lifting each other up, not just those guys and girls who actually get in the ring and entertain us, but the fan base, the fan community, we're also supposed to be a family, and the way that we just treat people. I mean, 2020 was a perfect example of just we need to start treating people better. I mean, with all the stuff that happened with Hannah Kimura, and to a lesser extent, um, Lana, with what she was talking about within her Chronicle episode, and what happened with Sonya Deville at her own home with fans just stepping out of pocket, man. And it's just we gotta do better, y'all. We gotta do better. All right, I'm off my soapbox now. On to the notes. All right, but it's good to see her back though. She had the all black suit on this time. All right, so Sonya Deville returns on Friday Night SmackDown, and this is another thing I wanted to mention. Not only she was on a career versus career match, but she lost the match, and that was prior to the draft. So why is she back on SmackDown when she's not been drafted? She hasn't been drafted because she was fired, or not fired, but her career was suddenly cut off. So why is she back on SmackDown? Even though maybe it makes a little bit of sense because it was the last promotion or the last brand, I should say, that she was on before she departed. But that don't mean anything. It was like, if we didn't draft you, then you shouldn't be here. Security. Sorry. she's like Heath from Impact. She just snuck in the back door and she's just walking around. All right. So on the first Friday Night SmackDown of the new year, Sonya Deville, real name Daria Baranato, made her return to WWE programming. Nice suit too. Oh, this was funny too. How was it bro? No. I believe it was Big E. If you guys follow Big E on Instagram, of course, over the whole week, he's just been giving stories about Brody Lee and how much he meant to him. And I believe it was either him or it was someone else who said that Brody Lee was in a constant rivalry with the Divas. I believe he said he was mad at Natalya because she stole his discus clothesline. It was somebody else that he was mad at. And then when he saw Sonya Deville, when she had the burgundy suit, he went out and got a burgundy suit. I was like, wow, this is deep. So, again, just tells you the type of guy that John Huber was. All right. On the first Friday Night SmackDown of the new year, Sonya Deville, real name Daria Baranato, made her return to WWE programming with a brief backstage cameo walking past members of the roster. Again, kayfabe-wise, I don't know what's going on. Okay. Deville has been absent from programming since losing a Loser Leaves WWE match against Mandy Rose this past August at SummerSlam. Yes, and they mentioned that. They said she was reinstated. Just, how do you just get... Like, we don't get no talks, ain't no news been going on before. Like, nothing broke out. I don't understand. All right, the abrupt departure followed a scary incident where her home was broken into with the intruder arrested and charged with multiple offenses, including aggravated stalking, attempted armed kidnapping, and criminal mischief. The case is still active and set to proceed. Not to mention, Mandy Rose was a part of it too. It's just crazy how they were able to continue with their program and finish out their program was very commendable on both of their ends. So, all right. It was noted to us by one source in the company that her return had been in the works for some time. Yeah, I think once she took care of what she needed to take care of as far as being a witness against the intruder within the trial and the court proceedings, I believe once that was all taken care of, I'm sure she wanted to get right back to work. Okay. All right. Oh, wait. That's it? That's all he has? Oh, come on, Pollock. Where's the actual... Oh, Lord. All right. Let's see if... Nope. That was it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and continue then, since he doesn't have the full notes from the review. I'm going to go ahead and go back. Camera on me. Camera one. Go. All right now. Y'all doing some good work back there in production, y'all. So yeah, we got that. Big return. I would love to see just the different stories that they put her in. And it'll be interesting to see how she can evolve this character when it's not involving Mandy Rose, whom she was very, very close and is very, very close to and has that chemistry with. It'll be interesting to see how she develops that character with other programs. So we'll see what happens. I don't put it past her, and I believe on that aforementioned post-wrestling Best of 2020 show, I believe Davey Portman actually picked, he gave an honorable mention to Roman Reigns, but he actually picked Sonya Deville. So, or not, yeah, Davey Portman. Yeah. So, moving on, Intercontinental Champion, new Intercontinental Champion, Big E was set to take on Baron Corbin. Two meaty men slapping meat. They were just going at it. And then all of a sudden, I don't even think it was 2 minutes within the match that Big E was able to get the big ending on King Corbin, when all of a sudden Sami Zayn appears and starts attacking Big E. And that match is thrown out, of course, because WWE can't go one show without a wacky finish. And then the Knights of the Lone Wolf come in and they get in on that beatdown, and they start getting in on Big E. And then all of a sudden, Apollo Crews comes out, and we got a little bit of continuity, because last week Apollo Crews was the lumberjack that helped get Sammy back in the ring and pretty much deliver him directly into some offensive moves and the big ending for Big E to pick up the championship last week. So, we got our Teddy Long on. Oh, we got two men right here. We got two men. Big E, Apollo, and then we got, your King Corbin, your king, and we got Sami Zayn, and a tag team match, player. Holla. So we got ourselves a tag team match. I was like, y'all could have just did this from the beginning, but oh well. So we get ourselves a tag team match. Baron Corbin, or King Corbin, Sami Zayn versus Big E and Apollo Crews. And it's good to see Apollo Crews in a significant role on our television screens now. We get that. They're battling back and forth. Knights of the Round, to say Knights of the Round Table. Knights of the Lone Wolf get involved a little bit, but Sammy is constantly jabbering back and forth with the Knights. And they're like, we don't work for you, B. We're the Knights of the Lone Wolf, not the lights, the Knights of the Liberator. Come on now, we don't work for you. If you could pay us as much or even more, then we'll work for you. But Sami Zayn's just thinking, oh no, you guys came to my defense. I mean, you're on my side. And so we start seeing that division and that dissension between all of them. They're fighting and they're going back and forth with Big E and Apollo. And then Apollo, I believe, is legal in the ring. But Sami Zayn taps himself in, and then he's continuing to berate the Knights of the Lone Wolf. And Baron's like, dude, focus. It's like, get yourself together. He's like, no, they worked there with me too. They blah, blah, blah. And so Baron was like, you know what? I'm gone. And so him and the Knights just left Sammy to his own devices. And Sammy gets beat down, gets that cruise control, lift up power bomb, and Apollo Terry Crews gets the victory within the tag team match, a pinfall victory over Sami Zayn. So, fast forward, we get Big E and Apollo Crews backstage. Of course, our intrepid reporter, Kayla Braxton, coming and asking the most obvious questions. And Big E throws some subtle Easter eggs for the family of Brody Lee. I believe he mentioned from Rome to Rochester, which is Brody Lee's hometown. All the little Amandas and Nolans, Amanda being Brody's wife, Nolan being Brody's youngest son. And then him bringing up the 1967 Maple Leafs, the 67 Maple Leaf, or the Maple Leafs in general, were Brody Lee's favorite hockey team. So, little subtle Easter eggs. If you know, you know. If you don't, you're like, oh, okay, I don't know, but okay. So, yeah, he was saying he was doing it for all the Amandas and the little Nolans out there, and show you how a champion fights back, just like the 67 Maple Leafs. And he's going to show that he's a fighting champion, just like those Maple Leafs, by issuing an open challenge next week for the Intercontinental Championship. And as soon as he couldn't even get all the words out of his mouth, Apollo was like, well, I'm next in line because I helped you defeat Sami Zayn to get that belt. So I'm entitled, and you wouldn't be champion without me. And then they did their whole fake laugh spot, just like Big E was doing with the Street Profits before Survivor Series. The whole inserting those jabs and pretending like they're just jokes. But it is official. It will be Big E versus Apollo Crews next week with the Intercontinental Championship on the line. So I doubt they're going to have Big E lose 2 weeks after he won the belt. But I would also like to see Apollo Crews, if and when he does lose. I still want to see a good showing from him, and I know they're going to, tear the house down. Hopefully, that might be the main event. We'll see. What else did we get on the show today? Oh, we got two women's tag team matches within the women's tag team division. We got the Riot Squad, who were just standing in the ring, waiting for Billie Kay to present her next challenge. And Billie Kay actually brings out both Natalya and Tamina. So I guess because she couldn't get along with either one of them being on their tag, she figured, you know what, maybe I'll just step out on the side and let y'all handle y'all work. So she brings them out as like she's the manager of those two. And then they're going in, they're trying to work, and she's continually yelling out things, and you don't know who she's yelling out things for. Is she yelling out advice for the Riot Squad? Is she yelling out things for Tamina and Natalia? I don't know. But all of a sudden, I believe the Riot Squad ended up picking up the victory, and instead of being sad, Billie Kay is actually celebrating. So I don't know if she's trying to show that she can be a good manager for the Riot Squad, and she's just like, if you can't beat them, join them. I don't understand, but that's weird. But yeah. Then we get to our second women's tag team match. We get Carmella and Bayley versus Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. So you get the team with just one name versus or the team with just people with one name versus a team with both a first and last name. So yeah, this match was decent. This match was decent back and forth, of course. Carmella just getting really nasty. And of course Bayley can be nasty as well, especially to Banks. She's especially taunting Banks, which is her specialty. And then all of a sudden, as Banks was kind of getting control of the match, your boy the sommelier, Pastor Sommelier, everybody singing now, Pastor Sommelier. Your boy Franklin got in. Is it Franklin? I think it's Franklin, or is it something with a W? I think it's Franklin. Your boy Franklin got up in there, and all of a sudden he starts doing like back roll tumbles out of the ring. Like he never touches anybody. He starts doing back roll tumbles out of the ring, and then he gets on the apron and does like a back flip. And that's very impressive, especially with the shoes that he had on, with no socks on, no support. He's able to do that. I'm surprised he didn't twist an ankle. Very impressive. But yeah. And so it's like, what is going on? And then Bianca and Sasha kind of get the upper hand, and Sasha finally knocks Franklin off the side, and she's able to, I believe she was able to get, Bianca was able to hit Carmella with a big move and get the victory. So I believe Bianca Belair and, or was it? Yeah, I believe Bianca and Sasha Banks picked up the win. I think they did. I might have to rewatch. We got that. Oh, we got a men's tag team match between Nakazawa and you like that, don't you? Nakazawa and the unlikely team of Daniel Bryan and Big Otis. Because apparently backstage, Big Otis was helping Daniel Bryan train for the Royal Rumble. Again, we fast forward or rewind back to last week with Daniel Bryan officially announcing his entry into the Royal Rumble for this coming year. By the way, time just comes at you fast. All of a sudden, we're right here back in Mania season. All over again. But, yeah, we get a training I want to call it a training montage, not an act like a montage, but a training backstage video, which was, I believe, more suitable for TVMA audiences, with Daniel Bryan trying to lift up Otis and toss him over the ropes, and with very suggestive pelvic thrusts by trying to get him close to the ropes. And in walks Nakazawa who are just teasing and taunting Daniel Bryan and being the bullies that they are. And so that led to this match being made. So yeah, these two teams, they're just battling one another. And then, well, of course, we got the start of the match with Cesaro and Daniel Bryan, who were correctly keyed by Michael Cole as the two most technical wrestlers within the history of this company, which I believe. And man, would I love to see a match between those two one-on-one. What they're doing with Cesaro is just, it's, I want to say it's criminal that they doing with him, but it's like the boss hog, is supposed to be all enamored with big guys who, big muscly guys who can work. Cesaro's not only a big muscly guy that can work. Cesaro is a big muscly guy that can be one of the best wrestlers, if not is already one of the best singles competitors and singles wrestlers that you have on your roster. And for you to still, I don't know what's going on. The man speaks 5 different languages. The man could be relatable to pretty much anybody in the world. I don't understand. Even if you don't think that he can cut promos on his own, like, get him somebody to talk for him. Like, you had, I don't know why they were so quick on the trigger with taking Paul Heyman away from him when they had him together, I believe, about 4 or 5 years ago. But it's just the way they've been treating this man. He deserves much more than just being a part of a tag team. I'll just say that. So we get these two teams facing off against each other. Decent match back and forth. We get Nakamura in there with, we get Cesaro in there with Big Otis, and Otis is able to hit Cesaro with the big caterpillar elbow. Then he gets disrupted by Nakamura. Nakamura went for the flying knee or the Kinshasa, but Otis was able to get out of the way. And then Daniel Bryan comes in with his flying knee. He knocks Cesaro out, but Nakamura is the legal man. Nakamura goes for the roll up. 1, 2, no, turned into the label lock. And this is not, I did not plan for this to happen. I did not plan for this to happen, but I just happened to have this shirt on. Judo Jean LaBelle. Put on that LaBelle lock on him, and it was all she wrote. So, and I like just the details that Michael Cole, sometimes Michael Cole can be on the ball. Sometimes. We can't have you out here calling moves unless you're going to call like the special moves, the signature moves. Don't call nothing else. Don't even call punches, because sometimes you're talking about he hit him with a right punch to the face, and it was a kick to the gut or something. So don't call no moves, but continue with the little seeds that you're planting there. When he was talking about how Daniel Bryan, several times, he got tossed out of the ring, which he would have been eliminated if it was the Royal Rumble. But then he came back around and tossed Nakamura and said, he would have eliminated Nakamura. So I like kind of the little storytelling seeds that Michael Cole was throwing in there. So get Daniel Bryan for the victory. All right. Street Profits was doing their comedy thing, and I'm so glad that it was interrupted. For some reason, there was a drum set out, and Dawkins all of a sudden can be a percussionist. And then they're talking about Dolph Ziggler being the heartache kid instead of a heartbreak kid because he wants to be Shawn Michaels so much. That was a good line. I kind of like that one. Um, but then it was disrupted by the Dirty Dogs themselves. Robert Roode came out, attacked Dawkins from behind, and then Ziggler came in, joined in, hit Dawkins with a super kick, hit Montez Ford with a super kick, and then they solely focused on Montez Ford and just destroying his left leg. Several chair shots to the left leg, wrapping his leg around the steel post. And once they took care of business that way, they went ahead and went about their business and left them laying. So, and then once they got to the back, of course, Dolph Ziggler had to get in the line. I mean, no one should ever be comparing me to that washed up HBK. And they got the new shirts now. So they had the matching gear. I believe it was a couple weeks ago. They had the matching gear. I was like, oh, we're starting to see something develop with these teams. And now they have the new T-shirts. I didn't see the T-shirts available on WWE Shop yet, but they're nice, decent T-shirts. I like the designs. They're both like pit bull or they're like bulldogs, but one has like a goatee and the other has like the bandana. It's pretty funny. But yeah, we got the Dirty Dogs. They're out and they said they're going to continue to assault the Street Profits until they get another shot at the Smackdown Tag Team Championships. So, sounds straightforward to me. I believe anything else of consequence before I get into the main event. I don't think so. I already mentioned Sonya Deville coming back. So we get our main event of the evening again with main event Jey Uso versus Kevin Owens. And this match, wow. I think most of it, I think most of the backlash or most of the story is going to come based off the post match rather than the actual match. So they start beating up on each other, and Kevin Owens starts working on the left leg of Jey Uso, and then we go to break. So I'm like, all right, we got about 10 minutes left in the show. Probably just going continue on with the match and then leave a few minutes for the post match beatdown, But as soon as we get back from break, and beating up on each other for about 30 seconds, and then boom, Owens stunner. Oh! And then it's 1, 2, 3. Ow! Nice surprise. I love it. I love it, WWE. It was a nice surprise because it is unlike anything that we usually see. And so we got the quick finish. Kevin Owens gets the victory, but as Michael Cole referenced, Kevin Owens said that first I'm going to beat you, and then after the match, I'm going to beat you down. Because you are going to pay for the sins of your cousin. So he starts beating him down, hits him with another stunner. Then he grabs a pair of, I'm about to say a pair of nunchucks. A pair of handcuffs. I got to remind them, handcuffs, nunchucks. A pair of handcuffs. And he locks them on. Payback again from last week. Locks them on Jey Uso, and at first he puts the other one on the top rope so that Jey Uso can't go anywhere, and he's just beating the snot out of Jey Uso, super kicking Jey Uso. It was like there's nowhere Jey can go, and then he gets the key out, takes the handcuff off of the rope, puts that on Jay's other hand, and proceeds to take him out of the ring and start beating the snot out of him on the outside of the ring. Um, as they're making their way past the ramp, past the LED boards, they get over to like some tables, and so Owens is just laying it in, laying it in. Excuse me. And then Owens gets Uso on top of these two covered up tables, and he goes up to the top, up to like the second division of where the LED board's at, and he's about to dive off, possibly about to hit him with either a cannonball or a frog splash, and then out of nowhere, and before this, he's just taunting and begging Roman Reigns to come out and speak of the devil, and he shall appear. And Roman Reigns just comes out from the LED boards. I think he just came straight out the Zoom call through the screen and just started beating down on Kevin Owens. And then somehow, these handcuffs were kind of loose, but somehow with the handcuffs still on, Jey Uso was able to make it up to where Cuzzo and Owens were, and they're just beating down on Owens. They get some chairs, they lay in some chair shots on him, and then the big finale, Roman and Jay just toss Kevin Owens off of the platform into those two tables waiting below. Whew, man. If he ain't dead now, if we wasn't dead now, no, let me say, but yeah, it's just, I don't know how they're going to justify having a third match with Roman Reigns. Maybe it's just that never say die Kevin Owens, he's just going to be like, I'm going to continue to pester you until I get a straight up match and you show me that you can beat me like a man. And I want to see the fallout between Roman Reigns and Adam Pearce. Like, is there going to be any consequences for Adam Pearce for his actions from allowing this match to be made between Jay and Kevin? I don't know. We shall see. Is Roman Reigns going to put his hands on Adam Pearce? And even better question, if he does, is Roman Reigns going to get suspended? All that and more next week on Friday Night Smackdown. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, we got a big match lined up for the Intercontinental Championship between Apollo Crews and Kevin Owens and Big E, and we got the fallout from the storyline. I think we're still going with KO, and we're still going with Roman Reigns for the time being. So we'll see what happens. Roman Reigns needs an opponent for the Royal Rumble, which is January 31st. So we just hit the new year when talking about Royal Rumble. So we'll see what happens. All right. Well, I'm done with the rundown, so let us move on to your comments. Too far. Your comments. All right. Let's see what you guys had to say about the show. First off, let's see if they ever had it. Nope. Doesn't look like they came up with a more far-reaching report for SmackDown. So All right now. Says we got 9 people in with us. Thank you for joining. Oh, Devo, Mr. Divine, brother. It's good to see you. Good to see ya. Hey, what's up? I'm all right, man. I hope you're well. You might be gone by now, but I hope you're well, brother. All right. Long time no see. Happy New Year to you. Uh, we got Comfort Socks. Comfort Socks joining us. Thank you for joining. Marching Champ, who actually just followed me. Thank you, Marching Champ. I appreciate you. Follow back. I always follow back. Galaxy fan. You might be alluding to the LA Galaxy. Maybe. Nice for you to join me. Thank you so much for you joining me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. And again, all of those who may not have Sportscaster accounts who are joining me as well, thank you guys for tuning in and just watching this blubbering idiot, this internet doofus, talk about Friday Night Smackdown for this evening. So, appreciate you. Thank you so very much. If you want to be like Comfort Socks, if you want to be like my boy Devo, if you want to be like Marching Champ, who just recently supported me with a follow, you can do the same. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Galaxy fan. Please, it doesn't cost you a thing if you enjoy what you saw and listened to. Please, I encourage you. You don't have to, but I encourage you. Please go ahead, give me a follow. I always follow back. Also, please, if you like this stream, favorite it, share it with your friends, your colleagues, your janitor, your mailman, anybody. If you think they might like wrestling or just some random dude talking on the internet. So, with that being said, I am going to bid you guys adieu. Reminder of the schedule. Tuesdays are my Raw recaps and 5 p.m. I might make it a little bit later in the evening. You know, people might be coming home from work. I might make it around 6 p.m. And Smackdown rundowns right here, 10:30 at the earliest. Usually around 10:30, 10:35. So, please feel free to join me if you have any free time to talk about some pro wrestling. Always a pleasure getting to come on here and chat about a sport and an art that I really love and appreciate. So, please, guys, let's start building a community. I love just reaching out to other people and talking about the sport. If you want to reach out to me outside of Sportscaster to talk about professional wrestling or mixed martial arts or anything rather, just don't get too personal. Not my links, but my profile and my handle will be at the end of the show. So, with that being said, let me think. Anything else that I want to get off my chest? Nope. I think I'm good. Well, with that said, thank you once again for joining me. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It means more than you guys will ever know. Again, I'm going to try to be more consistent this year. And my first year was last year, you know, and I think I kicked all this stuff off in April. And of course, just like everyone else, trying to do something, you know, to fill the time while I was in lockdown. And just trying to pick up a new hobby and a new talent. So hopefully that's going well. And I know I can only get better. And if you guys have any positive or any constructive feedback for me, please let me know as well. So I'm just trying to get better. Hopefully I can get some better equipment. But for now, you know, I think I'm doing pretty good. So I just thank you guys for your support. And I'm going to try to get better throughout the year of 2021 as well. Hopefully, we'll start getting to bigger and better heights. I got about, 39, 40 followers. Let's see if we can push that to 60 followers. Just like my boy Chris Van Vliet says, specific goals get specific results. Vague goals get vague results. So let's see if we can get 60 followers this year. And I try not to put too much of my validation into follower count, because I don't care if I get millions of followers. I just want to, like I mentioned before, create a community. Because, like Moxley said, we're a community, we're a family. And so if I can just build a little hub on here with Sportscaster, just to have that familial tone and that familial relationship with one another, where we're just talking about the sport that we love, and we're sharing about our experiences with the sport that we love, then that's all I can ever ask for. So 60 followers total by the end of 2021. I know that might be, you know what? Let me push the bar. 75 new followers by the end of or 75 followers total. That'll blow my mind if I get 75 altogether. But 75 followers total. And that means I'll be following 75 other people. So again, just keeping that relationship, mutual. A mutual relationship. It's not one-sided, guys. I'm not just going to beg you to follow me and then I get like 100 or 200 followers, and then following I get like 5-6 people. Now, it's mutual. It's a mutual agreement between one another. So please, I really appreciate it. All right. That being said, I hope you guys did well during 2020, and even if things didn't work out your way, I just pray that things will work out better for you during the year of 2021. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves and your families, and more importantly, watch more wrestling. So, with that being said, I'm Ray Williams. You're amazing. Love you guys. And God bless you. God keep you. And until next time, peace out.